Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Dr. Travis Zigler. He's a very experienced Amazon FBA seller and super knowledgeable about Amazon PPCs. So we're super happy to have him on the channel today to talk about Amazon PPC and give you guys some tips. So thanks so much for coming on today.
Hey, Rob, thanks for having me on. You were on my channel, so glad to reciprocate it back and get on your channel as well.
Absolutely. You were actually the first person to interview me when I first started working with Egrow, and I was super nervous, I remember. I had just kind of learned the tool suite, and you were the first demonstration I did. So I remember several months ago that was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I think it turned out really well, so if you ever wanted to redo it in the future, we can always arrange that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to consider doing that again. But yeah, hey, Travis, again, we're really happy to have you on. And just wanted to get a little bit about your background. I know you have a lot of experience selling on Amazon FBA with your own brand, and you really kind of carved out a niche in Amazon PPC. So can you just talk a little bit about kind of what you've been doing over the last several years to kind of get to where you are today?
Yeah, so to give just a brief background he called me Dr. Travis Zigler. I am an optometrist, an eye doctor. My wife and I graduated from optometry school in 2010 and 2011 from The Ohio State University. And we practiced in Columbus, Ohio for a while after that, about 4 years. And then in 2015, we actually, I got the entrepreneur bug. And so I was working for my uncle at the time, and we quit working for my uncle. Great job, but just felt that itch. And so we moved from Ohio to South Carolina. We opened up 2 practices at that time. And when you open up practices, patient flow tends to be a little slower. So I was seeing about 1 patient an hour. And where I came from at my uncle's office, I was seeing about 4 to 5. And so really slowed me down. And, we get bored. We're entrepreneurs. So if anytime you have like this space to think, you just think about what else you can be doing. So my wife and I bought a course called Amazing Selling Machine. I think it's in its like 13th rendition right now. Still a great course. I was in ASM 4. And so we were the 4th rendition of it. We actually started out as a sunglass company, and we still sell sunglasses today, but we don't sell as many as we used to, mostly because we've kind of switched focus from the sunglass space to a dry eye space. And I'll get into that a little bit more, but we're building the sunglass company up while building our 2 practices. And you only have time to do so much. And so we analyzed everything, and we took a look at what was the most stressful, taking our most time and not giving us the best ROI on our time. And we sold practice number 1 in June of 2017, practice number 2 in January of 2018. And we went all in on this. And so we left our income of about $250,000 a year behind to go all in on this. And I couldn't tell you how great this has been to go all in on this, and what a great decision that was, because during that same time of 2017, we started building a community of dry eye sufferers. We're both eye doctors. We treated a lot of dry eye in office. And what was happening is I was selling other people's products, other brands on the shelf, omega-3s, eyelid sprays, eye drops, all these things that are related to dry eye. And I went to a conference, and there was a doctor up on stage, and he was doing the same thing. He was the expert in the field selling other people's products. And somebody challenged him and said, "You're the expert. Why don't you come out with your own products?" And then light bulb went off in my head right then. So we started building up this dry eye community, and then we started coming out with dry eye products. And our main brand line is called Hydrate, around the dry eye space. And so that started in June of 2017. And we've actually narrowed our sunglasses down to just 4 sunglasses left, because we're fully focused on the dry eye space. And then, we've grown that over the last 3 years to where we're at today. We're on pace to do about 4 million this year. And the first year that we did this, we did about 80,000. And so over 5 years, we've been able to grow it significantly. And now we're having a blast doing it. And the whole reason we started this company in the first place was because we go on mission work, and our mission work is in 3rd world countries. Like Jamaica is our main spot, but we also go to Latin America a lot, and South America, and then other Caribbean islands. And we wanted to make $12,000 a year to help pay for those missions. And now we're able to go on 3 mission trips a year. We have a charity that's dedicated just to those mission trips. We take our team that works for us on our mission trips with us. They got to go with us pre-COVID on the last trip we actually did. And, it's been a blast because when you take your team on something like that, they're all in on your mission and everything you're going for. And, here we are today. due to the success we've had with I Love, people have started asking us to run their Amazon. And so we focus on Amazon PPC. I tell everybody our business is incredibly simple. We focus on three things: content creation. Oh my gosh, I always forget the second one: content creation, Amazon PPC, and then just building an audience. Building an audience is the most important thing to me. And, we started doing that with I Love, and now we're doing it with the PPC agency side. And we're about a year into the PPC agency. We've been around for about 3 years, but a year of really focusing on it. And we've built our audience around 5,000 on our email list, and then about 2,000 on our YouTube channel. And so it's still in the infant stages compared to our main list on I Love, which is about 100,000. So that's kind of our whole business in a nutshell.
Wow, yeah, that's a really inspiring story, and it sounds like you're doing it for a great cause, so that's awesome as well. Going back to I Love, when you first started, you were kind of building your own product and your own brand, so I'm sure, there might have been some concern at the beginning whether or not there'd be enough traction to make sales. Did you already have that audience before you launched your products with I Love, or were you kind of building that at the same time?
So the sunglass company, no, we had no audience with that, and we never have had an audience with that. And selling the pieces of plastic that just go on your face, it's hard to build an audience around it. Some companies have done really well with that. Oakley, for example, Ray-Ban. There's a really good company that's a startup company called Gooder. They've focused on runners, and so they come out with the running sunglasses, and they've built this multi-million-dollar company. But we didn't find the passion in that. We wanted to help people more that had problems. So that's where the dry eye side came. And so we actually started building our audience about 8 months before we came out with our first dry eye product. And I always recommend that to new sellers, that, don't worry about what product to sell, worry about who you want to serve. And then once you figure out who you want to serve, then you ask them. That's all you do, is you ask them. And so our main demographic is a 61-year-old female. So every product we come out with now, because that's a very typical dry eye sufferer, every product we come out with now, we ask them, what else are you using on a daily basis? And so we've come out with an eyelid spray that helps with dry eye. We've come out with a face wash that helps with dry eye because it's more natural. We've come out with an eye cream and a face moisturizer. We're thinking about shampoo and conditioner, because what we're doing is we're trying to get them away from the junk that's in the Walmarts and CVS's of the world and into a more organic, natural product that doesn't have the preservatives. And so going back, I don't even remember what the question was, but building your audience. Yeah. Going back to that, we did that 8 months. We started 8 months before we actually started with a product. And the reason we came out with our first product, Hydrate Lid and Lash Cleanser, it's our main product. It sells, it's by far our biggest seller. And the reason we came out with that is because we were selling the competitor. It's called Avenova. And somebody came up to me and said, here, this product went from $30 a month to $300 a month. Can you make it? And I was like, sure. So we started looking at manufacturers, a lot harder to manufacture than you think. And we found a manufacturer. Literally 5 days later, I was on the phone with the CEO, and he's never done private label, but we made it work. And here we are 3.5 years later. And that relationship with that manufacturer has grown beyond just him manufacturing our products, because we do mission trips together. So if there's what our spray does also is it helps kill viruses and bacteria. And so, there's something going on in the world right now. And whenever an outbreak like that happens, we can actually ship a bunch of our product to it with the help of the manufacturer. We kind of team up together to help prevent these outbreaks from getting worse. So it's so cool to just, build your audience first, come out with a product second, but then figure out how you can build relationships with everybody in your business to make the whole world a better place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a really valuable piece of information, that, you're validating your product before you even bring it to market. And I'm sure that gives you some confidence and at least ensures that you'll find some level of success once you launch. I'm curious, maybe if we could go a little bit into kind of growing that business and those products now. It sounded like you did very well in the first year, but you've increased your revenue several times over since then. How has PPC ads kind of played into that, aside from growing your organic audience, and what did that process kind of look like from the start?
So Amazon PPC is by far the most frustrating thing in Amazon space, because there is so much data, there are so many analytics, that if you're not on top of it and you're not doing it full time, it's almost impossible to keep up with it, because there's experts like myself and like my business partner in this space that this is all we do for a living. More my business partner than me. I work on more strategy of growing a business overall. But there's just, with Amazon PPC, It's been a huge driver of our growth. I was talking to somebody earlier today and I was saying that we're at the point in our business that we could shut down Amazon PPC completely and still be an okay business and save a lot of money. It wouldn't be as big as it was or is, but we'd probably save a lot just because we wouldn't be, but never mind. Don't worry about that part. What I'm trying to say is that with Amazon PPC, you need to have a strategy around it. And, we didn't have a strategy. What we were doing at the time is we were taking a course from this guy, and then we were taking a course from this lady, and then a course from this guy. And we were trying to implement all these strategies at once. And it just led to more frustration. And then there's free videos on YouTube, there's podcasts, and you learn all these little nuggets, and the strategies just don't commingle together. And finally, I was sick of it. And, we were growing with Amazon PPC, but it was taking so much time that I couldn't focus on the strategy of the business. I couldn't focus on new product development. I couldn't focus on what we needed to do to grow the business. And so I was at an Amazon conference once. It's called SellerCon. It's my favorite conference. I've been to it every year since I've joined this whole Amazon entrepreneur world. And there was a speaker on stage talking about Amazon PPC. And it was great because the whole presentation wasn't about tactics. It was about strategy, but it was a big metaphor. And so she talks in metaphors, and it was like she was talking us through a movie with slides. And at the end of the presentation, I was like, oh my gosh, that is it. And like a light bulb went in my head, and I realized that I was overcomplicating PPC, which everybody does. Everybody does. And we focused it back to what I call the 80-20, the Pareto's principle of Amazon PPC. So for your listeners that don't know, the 80-20 rule is 20% of your efforts lead to 80% of your results. So 20% of the activities you're doing on a daily basis lead to 80% of your results. This holds true for your garden. If you like to garden, 20% of your seeds produce 80% of your fruits or your vegetables or your crop. I don't know what yield. Yeah, yield.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for.
Yield.
And then 20% of your products produce 80% of your revenue. 20% of your customers produce 80% of your sales. And in Amazon PPC, 20% of the search terms that you're bidding for produce 80% of your results. That is the only strategy that you need to know. And it's so simple. You just need to find the 20% of the search terms that are producing all your results. All you do is focus on those search terms. That is the strategy that she laid out in this long movie set. And when she went over it, I was just like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. We actually went home that night in the hotel room with my business partner. My business partner in the agency is not my wife. My business partner in iLove is my wife. So when I say my business partner in the agency, that's him I'm talking about. We sat and redid iLove's account, and then we redid all of our clients' accounts. And when we did this, we started to see the scale, and the scale happened pretty incredible. So we shoot for a 62% ACOS. I'm not going to get into why we go after such a high ACOS, but it's essentially, that's our profit. That's our profit margin. And that's why we go after that. And we're consumables, so we can go after a little higher ACOS. So we scaled this to about $30,000 in sales $30,000 in spend to make 60,000. So about 50% ACOS, which was really good for us. And we were at like 70% before, because like I said, we were going for something a little higher. And I mean, that's like the main transition of what brought us to scale. And that's how we were able to scale our agency as well. But the big problem we were having with the agency side is like, how are we going to do this for more people? Because it was still taking so much of our time. And so we couldn't focus on strategy and making things bigger. And so then we started looking at automation. And as you know, there's lots of softwares out there, including yourself. And there's softwares for Amazon PPC. You guys don't have a PPC software yet, do you?
Not yet. That's something we're working on, but yeah, we're more focused on the product and keyword research side of things.
It's a whole different ballgame in the PPC side. And I tried 6 different softwares. I tried 3 different agencies, and nothing was working for us. And so, yes, I was trying agencies because I wanted to see how they worked, to see if we needed to apply anything to our agency. And I still do that to this day. I'll hire an agency just to see how they work and what they're doing, to see if we can learn anything from it. It's kind of like Chevrolet buys every single car that's out on the market that's not theirs, and they take it apart completely to learn innovation and technology that they could be missing. And so we still do that to this day. But we finally found a software that we settled on with Amazon PPC. And the key with automating Amazon PPC is it is not a set and forget for any software that you use. You need to still have a hands-on approach and know what to automate before you start automating it. So that's been our big transition this year, is we've started using our scale process that we learned in 2019 to then automate the right parts of your Amazon PPC. And we started that in January, and we were doing spending 30,000 to make 60. And now that we're automating the right parts of your Amazon PPC, we now are spending 40,000 to make 120,000. So we've reduced our ACOS to about 30 to 35%. And we increased our sales by almost double. And so I can't tell you what that means. And this is the best part of it. It takes me 30 minutes a week to think about PPC, because that's the hands-on approach. Now, mind you, I have somebody that does it for me, but it takes her about an additional hour per week than me. And I just focus on the strategy. So that, I think, answered your question of my whole Amazon PPC revolution, from frustration to finally being able to figure out by simplifying, by scaling, and then scaling even more once we started automating.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of a great timeline of, how you can first start out to getting it more and more advanced to where it's really optimized and it's almost working for you in a sense, instead of you spending so much time every day trying to optimize it and make it right. Just going back to that 80-20 rule you were talking about. So if someone's maybe, first looking to get started with PPC ads, maybe they've launched a few products on Amazon and they're not seeing as many sales as they'd like. Does that 80-20 rule just kind of come down to research? So finding those right keywords, and then spend. So finding the good keywords and then allocating the majority of their budget to those right keywords?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you have no PPC campaigns running at all, keyword research is the most important skill that you can learn, hands down. And so I'm sure you guys have tutorials on your channel, or because your software is about keyword research. So if just watch their tutorials over and over and over again. I did not pay attention to keyword research for forever. And then I realized that is the 80-20 on Amazon. If you learn keyword research, you will skyrocket your brand. The key with keyword research, though, and what I see most people do, is I'm going to go with an example that we sell called polarized sunglasses. We sell polarized sunglasses. Everybody does keyword research. They find polarized sunglasses for women, polarized sunglasses for men. Those three keywords get 500,000 to 1 million searches per month. And the problem with that is every single person out there is bidding on that keyword. And so what you want to do is what I like to call, what the Amazon space calls long tail keywords. Now, if any of your listeners come from the Google world, they'll know that long tail keywords are like longer versions, like polarized sunglasses for women with UV protection and 100% polarization. That's a long tail keyword. Not the same in the Amazon space. Amazon space, a long tail keyword is simply a keyword that gets fewer searches. So we're looking for keywords that are getting 500 to 5,000 searches per month that aren't as competitive. We usually find about 5 to 10 of those search terms or keywords to go after right away. And we'll create an exact match campaign on those. And sometimes we'll do a broad if we have budget left over. The key thing there is you got to have a budget, and your exact match campaigns are made for scale and they're made to drive sales, where your broad match campaigns are made more for discovering new keywords. Now, notice I have not mentioned anything about auto campaigns. I hate auto campaigns. I think they're a waste of money. They're great if you just want to hand Amazon the keys and just say, go. But Amazon's algorithm is not as good as some of the softwares that are out there. So you could set up a broad campaign, put a software on it, and that will do better than Amazon's auto. Now, I'll say that with a caveat. Auto campaigns do have some advantages now. They target ASINs, they go on product pages. There are some things with that, but wait for the auto campaign until you have more budget to play with, and just focus on those long tail keywords that have fewer searches, less competition. Once you start to rank on those, then that's when you can start to go for the bigger keywords. And so we come out with a list of about 100 search terms, and we start with the first 10 to 20, depending on our budget. And then as we get more budget, as we start getting more sales and traction, we then go after the next 20 to 40 keywords. And we do that all the way down to the big competitive keywords. Usually by the time you get to those big competitive keywords, you're already ranking really well. And so they're not going to cost you as much. Sometimes those big keywords aren't even worth going after. We don't go after a lot of those big keywords anymore just because they've gotten so expensive. So the 80-20 for new products is all around keyword research. So you just got to learn that, but don't go after the main keywords that have all the search. Go after the long tail keywords. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like if you really take the time and invest in the research up front to find those long tail keywords that are going to help grow your business, that's really going to set you up for success in the long run versus if you're trying to maybe take a shortcut and really just go with that automatic campaign route or something like that.
100%.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's super helpful. I was watching some of the videos on your YouTube channel, and I noticed you had one about targeting negative keywords. What's kind of your view on that in terms of kind of implementing that along with your 80/20 strategy, and kind of how does that fit in for maybe a beginner or a more advanced PPC campaign?
So this is another big problem I see with beginners and even experienced Amazon sellers. They're so obsessed with the negative keywords, and you don't have to be. Like, negative keywords are going to save you pennies. It's not going to save you thousands of dollars. And so thousands of dollars is going to be saved when you follow the right strategy. That's how you're going to save a lot of money. And when you automate things like daily bid adjustments and budget and all that, the stuff that you don't need to be doing, that will save you thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in my case. And negative keywords are pennies to dollars. And so that's my opinion on negative keywords. Where I come up with my negative keyword list, though, is when I'm doing my keyword research. So when I'm doing my keyword research and looking at all the keywords that are in play, I'm not coming up with exact match negatives. I don't think those are worth it. Those are really, like, those are half pennies on the dollar. So, like, they're not worth it at all. But where negatives come in is the phrase match. So I'm going to give you another example. So let's say I sell polarized sunglasses for women, because I do, but we're looking up keyword research for polarized sunglasses for women. A phrase match negative, or excuse me, a negative phrase match keyword would be men, man, male, all of those words, because I don't want somebody typing in polarized sunglasses for men and me showing up with my women's sunglasses. That's how I treat negative keyword research. Is it's not, these exact match negatives. I do phrase. So the broad phrase, because a lot of people search for polarized sunglasses for men or sunglasses for men, and I don't want to show up at all. And so that's where I use phrase match, and I put them in my broad and phrase. And if I do have my auto running, I'll put it in my auto. So that's my opinion on negatives. And after that initial keyword research, I don't really think about too much. After that, one other thing that I will say is if you do run an auto, you can now negative match ASINs. If you have something in the auto that's showing a really high ACOS with an ASIN, then you can negative match that ASIN, but that can save you money with an auto. But like I said, I have one auto running in my entire account. And so that shows you how much I don't care for auto campaigns.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, that kind of puts it in perspective then. Okay, yeah. So it sounds like the negative keyword targeting. It's it can be helpful, but it's not super important, especially at the beginning when people are first starting out. The most bang for their buck, or the most value that they're going to get is just really kind of following that 80/20 rule and focusing on the research and targeting those correct keywords.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think this has been super helpful. I think this gives a lot of our viewers an idea of where they can start, and maybe some of the mistakes that people have made in the past that they can try to avoid moving forward. So this has been really, really valuable. I know you have the Amazon PPC Pros Facebook page and YouTube channel. Are those the best places to get in touch with you and kind of see your content and learn maybe more advanced strategies related to Amazon PPC?
Yeah, so my business partner and I, we try to go live every Monday around 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that's on our YouTube channel, Amazon PPC Pros, like you said, and then our Facebook group is also called Amazon PPC Pros. We go live on both of those, and the best way to interact with me is inside that Amazon PPC Pros group, because that's where we are most active. And if you want to see what our agency is all about, we're called Profitable Pineapple Ads Agency.com. Profitable Pineapple Ads Agency. Profitable pineapple.com. It's actually very hard to say. Didn't think that through when I actually came up with the name of the agency, but we love doing our mission trips in the Caribbean and we love pineapples. So profitablepineapple.com. I actually have a free course for any of your listeners that are doing what I recommend the free course for is it's good for anybody, but it's mostly it's geared towards beginners who are doing less than 25,000 per month. If you're doing over 25,000 per month, then we recommend joining our mastermind. And when you join our mastermind, you get our free automation course. And the automation course teaches you exactly what we're doing in the agency now. Whereas in the one that's free is actually from last year. It's our SOP and our videos from last year. That's the one that you've gone through. And the paid one is what we're doing right now. And then you get our mastermind, and we meet every 2 weeks and just we chat, we talk shop. I mean, we get on a Zoom call just like this. There's usually about anywhere from 5 to 20 of us that jump on every week or every other week, and we just chat about it. So it's a lot of fun. And then also on profitablepineapple.com, if you want us to help you out with and you want to hire somebody, we recommend that for people that are doing over 50,000 per
Awesome.
month.
Okay.
50,000
Yeah,
per month.
definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, and this has been great. It's inspired me, a few keyword research videos that we can launch here on the Egrow YouTube channel to give the users some more value. And then, yeah, we'll definitely drop links to all that information in the description below. So that way users who are getting into PPC ads and they're kind of going beyond what we offer here at Egrow, they can come check out your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, your agency, and see kind of what might be the best fit for their business. So yeah, we really, really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Rob.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Travis. It's been a pleasure.